I didn't think being called an idiot in front of half the student body would end with me making out with the hottest guy in our dorm. And I sure as hell didn't think he'd kiss me back like he'd been waiting for it his whole life. It all started with Lila Hart, the campus queen bee, student body president, and unfortunately the girl I'd stupidly tried to impress. Everyone wanted her attention, and for some reason I thought I did too. Until she laughed in my face in the middle of the quad. "You're such an idiot, Elijah," she said, loud enough for a dozen heads to turn. "He's your roommate, not your boyfriend. Don't embarrass yourself." I felt the heat rise in my ears. Not just because she was right. Not just because I'd been caught staring at Jake one too many times. But because I'd never felt so exposed in my life. And I reacted the way only an idiot would. I kissed him. Right there, in front of everyone. And Jake kissed me back. Jake Rivers was everything I wasn't. Confident, tall, blonde, built like he could break a door down with his pinky. He was the golden boy of the swim team, the kind of guy professors remembered, and guys like me just stared at. We'd been roommates for almost a year at Emerson University in upstate New York. Friendly, sure, but not close. Not until that kiss. He didn't pull away, didn't shove me. He just closed his eyes and leaned in like I'd given him permission to breathe. Then he stepped back. "You okay?" he asked quietly. I nodded, too stunned to speak. Then he said, "Let's talk. In the room." I thought he was going to punch me. Or worse, tell me it meant nothing. Instead, Jake paced the room for 10 full minutes while I sat frozen on my bed. The silence was thick, crackling between us like summer lightning. Then he stopped and looked at me with those impossible ocean blue eyes. "I've been trying not to do that since October," he said. I blinked. "Do what?" "That. What you did. The kiss." Couldn't believe it. Jake, me roommate. My straight-as-hell roommate had wanted to kiss me? "You don't have to say that just because I'm not," he cut in. "I'm serious." He sat down beside me, close enough that our thighs touched. I didn't know how to bring it up. I didn't know if you'd hate me for it. I laughed. Too hard. Too high. "You thought I'd hate you? Jake. I've been trying not to stare at your arms every morning since we moved in." He smiled then, soft and warm and real, and he reached out, hand brushing mine, testing the waters. "Can I do it again?" he whispered. My heart stopped. "Please." It wasn't easy after that. Campus gossip exploded. Lila didn't let you if anything. She doubled down, turning what happened into a punchline. I kept my head down. Jake didn't. He held my hand in the dining hall. He walked me to class. He stood next to me at parties like I was the only person in the room. I didn't understand it at first. I wasn't used to being wanted like that. Not out loud. Not by someone like him. But Jake wasn't doing it to prove anything. He just wanted to be close. One night in October, we sat on the roof of our dorm, wrapped in a blanket, sharing a lukewarm thermos of hot chocolate. Leaves rustled in the wind below. Jake was staring at the stars, his arm around me, heartbeat steady against my back. "Do you ever think," he said softly, "we were meant to find each other?" I smiled. "Even if I'm an idiot?" He laughed into my hair. "Especially because you're an idiot." I elbowed him gently, and he pulled me tighter. "I'm serious," he said. "I've never felt this way about anyone, and I'm scared out of my mind." I turned in his arms to face him. "Me too." And we kissed, slow and lingering, like we had all the time in the world. But time didn't care about us. Jake's parents visited for Thanksgiving. Conservative, cold, all handshakes and false smiles. I wasn't introduced as anything more than Elijah, my roommate. When they left, Jake sat in our room, silent, his hands clenched in his lap. "They told me they'd stop paying for school if I ever brought home a boyfriend." I swallowed. "So what does that mean?" He looked at me, eyes dark. "It means I need to figure out if I'm brave enough to lose everything." My heart cracked open. "I don't want you to lose anything," I whispered. "But I don't want to lose you either." We spent winter break apart. Texts turned into calls. Calls turned into video chats. Every night, I'd fall asleep to the sound of his voice, curled around my phone like it was his body. When we got back in January, Jake met me at the station with a kiss, in front of everyone.
No Hayden. No επάλεγεις.
I talked to them, he said. They didn't take it well, but I told them I love you. My knees went weak. You love me, I choked. He grinned. Since the first time you spilled coffee on my chem notes and tried to blame the wind. Spring came fast. We spent weekends in the park, afternoons on the roof, mornings tangled together in sheets and sunlight. I learned every freckle on his chest, every scar on his hands. I learned that he liked to read poetry before bed and hated cold pizza, that he snored when he was drunk and always cried during Disney movies. He learned that I hummed when I studied and talked in my sleep, that I hated silence but loved thunderstorms, that I'd never really believed in happy endings until him. Graduation loomed. We stood in our empty dorm, boxes packed, the air thick with unspoken fears. What now? I asked. Jake smiled. Now we find an apartment with terrible wallpaper and creaky floors. I laughed. And a cat. Definitely a cat. We stood there, facing each other, the weight of a year in our eyes. Thank you, I said, for choosing me, for not letting go. He pulled me into his arms. I never will. People say college is the best time of your life. They're wrong. The best time is any time you're loved for exactly who you are. Be someone who sees the mess and stays anyway. Even if you're an idiot. Especially if you're an idiot. And maybe, just maybe, that's how you know it's real. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.